It was a pleasant evening camped next to the spillway for the Salt Fork of the Arkansas River. The next morning we were considering an opportunity to stop in a small, out-of-the-way town for gas, an auto parts store with a code reader to clear the check engine light on my Jeep, and a car wash to clean the vehicles up a bit. That latter is good practice when overlanding to avoid carrying plants and critters into new environments. If we diverted a few miles from the town, we also had the opportunity to travel through Wakita, a filming location for the movie Twister.
It sounds good too.
Yeah, it doesn't have any mist, just like yesterday, except for that brief period at the salt plains.
Yep.
Check engine light is still on,
Yep.
but it's one of those kinds that you have to clear with a code
Yeah.
reader. I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
The cylinder misfire and crankshaft position.
Yeah, we probably still want to get it looked at for a code reader,
Yeah.
and then maybe they can clear a code.
Okay, well we need to find a place
Yeah.
that we think might have a code reader. It'd be nice if we could find a car wash too. You said
Yeah.
there was one in Medford?
I think so. When I had LTE service briefly last night, it comes and goes, I typed in the nearest corn operator or nearest car wash, and it said Medford. We have about 25 miles, maybe 28 miles to Medford on County Road 11.
Okay.
And if we get it checked out in Medford, then if we're going to head back up north to pick up 81's right there, and it would take us right up to
The TransAmerica Trail, somewhere in that area, I'm sure.
Renfro somewhere.
Yeah, great.
So, and it's on the direction of Kaw City, which is our destination tonight. I didn't realize that Oklahoma had so many little towns. I mean, in Colorado, there's stretches where there's nothing.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah.
nothing.
But a lot of these little towns
are
they don't have much to them.
just a house with a cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little more.
Yeah.
And oftentimes not a gas station. Or if the map says or GPS says there is a gas station, it may be closed. So,
Yep.
I mean, closed, permanently closed. So you do have to be careful driving around here. That's why I tell people carry that a little bit extra
Yeah.
gas just in case your plans don't work out.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to day 3 of the TransAmerica Trail, Oklahoma. This morning, Mike and I are going to head for the town of Medford. Looking for several things there. Gasoline, an auto parts store where we can check this code on my Jeep and clear it off, see if it's going to come back. Finally, if we can find some sort of place to wash the mud off the Jeep. I think I may have some of that mud on the inside of these wheels because I had just a little bit of a shake here.
I noticed my brakes are real squeaky too when I hit the brakes. I'm sure I get a lot of mud and stuff in my brakes.
In Medford, we gassed up and stopped at the Napa Auto Parts store. Unfortunately, their code reader would not connect with my Jeep. Since my Jeep was running fine, and the check engine light had cleared itself after I gassed up, we agreed to press on with the trip. We washed our rigs and decided to backtrack a bit, skipping some of the tats so that we might visit Wakita, renowned from the movie Twister. Well, I got the rigs all cleaned up, and ourselves all dirty. My check engine light is staying out.
Yeah, good. That's good news.
We're back out on the highway, and we are going to head back to Wakita. For those of you who are saying, Wakita, Oklahoma, that sounds familiar? Well, in the movie Twister, that town is featured. So we'll drive north there, pick up the TransAmerica Trail after we pass through Wakita. Welcome to the town of Wakita. Got the Twister Cafe.
In the movie, they filmed that water tower because I remember it saying Wakita on it.
Unfortunately, the Twister Movie Museum is open on Saturdays just for a few hours. But we got to look in and see Dorothy, which was pretty cool. And the water tower is just behind me, which just past that. Interesting little town. Not sure where the house is that was destroyed. There seems to be a lot more sand in this soil than there was in that soil yesterday.
And this little road's narrow, though. Wow. I don't know where the ditch is. I don't want to find out. Harmon shows a road ahead of us called Logan Road ahead. I don't know how far ahead it is, but...
This is firm. You can get across it. Just drive slowly so you don't throw a lot of mud on your rig. Road closed, so I'm going to turn to the right.
10-4.
We are now running parallel to the Tat and a couple of miles south of it.
That's good.
I'm going to go to four-wheel drive. It's a little muddy here for about 100 feet. You might want to go to four-wheel drive.
Copy, I'm trying to put the lever in. That money's spent on the car wash. But at least it's a different color.
Yuppery. Looks like we're coming to another one of those, similar to that last little muddy section we went through. Surface got a lot better.
You're even kicking up some dust.
This road surface.
This is nice. I'm sure they laid this for the folks that service the windmills.
Those were swallows.
Yeah.
believe those particular ones are cliff swallows. If we looked under the bridge there, we probably would see the nest that they make out of mud underneath the bridge.
That's probably why there are so many flying around that bridge.
I like the contrast of the red soil and the green flora. Here's our turn.
On the Magellan, it's telling me to turn right. You too well, so I'm going to back off a little bit, and then the dust doesn't blind your vehicle out from mine.
Okay. See that big old tractor on the left?
Heard that him, but he didn't wave back. A lot of folks don't know about the TransAmerica Trail.
Yeah, I know. I get a lot of surprise. I'm driving along and telling people, yeah, this is the Trans Am Trail. We have site 21.
Okay, yeah, if you know that. I can't find the piece of paper I printed off, so who knows where it's at.
I marked it with a waypoint on my map.
Okay, cool. That big bathroom, if it is a comfort center, and it probably has showers.
Be nice.
So what's in the bottle?
Salt water.
Salt water.
Salt water, but not just any old salt water. And this has a really cool connection to both Oklahoma and the TransAmerica Trail. Have you ever heard of the Abernathy Boys?
No.
They come from, I believe the name of the small town down south was Fredericksburg. And back in the early 1900s, at the ages of, if I remember these ages right, 9 years old and 5 years old, they went to their dad, who was the sheriff of the county, and said, "Hey, Dad, I want to ride horses to Santa Fe." So Dad gave them permission, and they rode to Santa Fe, and then they rode back from Santa Fe.
On horses?
On horses.
Wow.
9 and 5
Wow.
in the early 1900s, before Oklahoma was a state.
Wow.
they had so much fun doing that they took another ride. Now, Daddy happened to be a friend with Teddy Roosevelt. Knew Teddy Roosevelt personally.
Wow.
He was the ex-president now, former
Yeah.
president now, and he was coming back from his African hunting safari, and there was going to be a big thing in New York City for his
Yeah.
arrival.
Yeah.
He was very popular. So they went to the White House and visited with the president. I'm not quite sure. Was that Woodrow Wilson at that time?
Could have been.
Whoever the president was
Yeah.
after Teddy Roosevelt. And the president at that time says, hey, listen, why don't you two young men join me on my boat, which is going to be in the Hudson River right there?
Yep.
To welcome Teddy back when his ship comes in. And so they got to do that. They got to be in the ticker tape parade.
Wow.
And then in New York, reporters had gotten together for the New York newspapers and had arranged for them to ride horses to San Francisco from New York City.
Wow.
And now remember, this is like maybe 1914,
Yeah.
1915.
Oh my God.
Okay. And so they undertook this challenge to ride these horses, and the book is really interesting. There was a lot of real challenges for them as they crossed, for
Oh,
example,
sure.
the Great Salt Lake and the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
There was no
Even the
ice.
Mississippi River.
The Mississippi River, yeah.
I mean,
So anyway, the book is all about that. When they did that last crossing, they carried a little jar of water from the Atlantic Ocean to the Pacific.
oh,
And
okay.
so I figured we better carry that water back.
So you got that in the Pacific.
That comes from the Pacific Ocean. And to be honest, the reason you haven't seen it before on any of my earlier videos is
Yeah.
I did not have it. I had not read the book until after this, and I thought, what a great idea.
Yeah.
I wish I had when we were in Port Orford. But I travel out to San Diego a lot because
Yeah.
of my folks. And so while I was out in San Diego, I went down to the ocean and I picked this up.
Yep.
So that is Pacific Ocean water
Wow.
to repay the Atlantic Ocean for the water that them Abernathy boys took across.
Wow. That's a great story. I'd only heard part of that. The one where they ride to Santa Fe.
Oh,
And
you
then-
got to read the book.
and-
It only takes a couple hours to read the book, and it's just really fascinating.
And then when
to
they-
little kids.
I think when
it's
they-
all true, by the way.
Yeah.
It's all documented in newspapers and everything. They got copies of newspaper clippings and everything else.
And when I was in the back and we picked up Gus, which no problem. I mean, that's what happened. I made sure to put it on the circle. Then I started thinking about where my air intake is. It's covered. Part of the cleanup I was doing, taking the mud from the air intake. Air intake's in the wheel well. So the tires on forward. It's really all up to that air.
I am sorry.
No, that's all right.
That was well performed.
Well, it was candid. Now it's got to be canned.
I know. And my experience when people want to ask them to do
I
it a
know.
second time,
I
a
know.
lot of people are not very good actors.
I don't think I have.
No, actually, you did well yesterday. Once you got your past tense right.
Yeah. It sounds good too.
All right.
All right. So
I did start a recording this time, right?
yeah, I hope so.
Hey, I got the red dot.
Okay, perfect.